strike up your Legolas. It's arrow time.
Oh, God.
Oh, arrow. Now, okay, so if you don't mind, I would like to start off the arrow chat.
Take it away.
Because the arrow chat, for me, it started out with the team back out there looking like the D-52 Batman and his family. Seriously, because Ray, there's not going to be any Batman maybe on the CW, but Arrow has stepped it up. It was straight up. He's got that ferociousness. The team was out there. It's like, Oliver, can we thoroughly kick butt? And I was like, well, yes, you can. And they're out there doing it.
Yeah, it is. It's so great to see them working as a unit too, and even to see Oliver sort of begrudgingly step into that role. You know, over the course of the season, we see them take on the mantle of mentor, and even though he's kind of reluctant at first, it's now it's he really is team dad.
Exactly. And he did that thing. Now I've got that moment. You've talked about it on some other on some of the other shows we talked about.
In my life.
You love a character and you either you like them or you get mad because they're not good. Okay, see, I like Oliver, and I'm so glad that he's no longer grumpy old Oliver anymore. It was thank you, man. I mean, sometimes you got to take out the can of whoop ass when they're acting all crazy. But sometimes when they're doing right, then you be encouraging and you step in and like you said, be that cool mentoring kind of dad. That is more encouraging once you get them over the hump of whatever is holding them back or keeping them from performing. And he was out there being that leader, a real team leader, and he led the way. The interrogation scenes were, again, another kind of reminded me of some scenes from The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But he had help doing it, and they all seem to have fun.
Yeah.
Seriously, jacking up people and getting the information.
Yeah, you're seeing Oliver leave the past in a way and starting to move forward, right? Which was something that I think Felicity said to him at the very beginning of the season, we have to move forward.
Right.
And so this is you're starting to see that come into motion.
Exactly.
And not just Oliver's moving forward, but the show is moving forward, right?
Okay, now I have a question for you. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan.
Yeah, you are.
And we all saw the season premiere of Walking Dead. Okay, so when I saw Tobias with René, you saw with the torture.
Oh, you had that Negan flashback. PTSD. Yeah.
I mean, I was I was twitching. I was twitching, and I was like, please don't have a bat. Please, Tobias, don't have a bat, because. But he looked. Oh my gosh, he was so bad. Look at him. He was jacked.
Hot. He looked so good.
Okay.
He looked so good when bad things were happening to him. I feel so bad.
So when bad guys are hot, it bothers you. When good guys are hot and getting jacked up.
Did I say that a bad guy's being hot bothers me?
No, well, the guy, when you were talking about the guy with Caitlyn that tried to help.
Oh, well,
that was back
it's upsetting to me because he was so good looking.
Okay.
It was upsetting that he would do that.
In a weird kind of way, if I must say, I must do, if I may man crush for a second, he does look too hunka to be getting beat up that bad, Somehow he looks like he could just break out of them. He's kind of got that Henry Cavill kind of thing going on. He should be boom, but they jacked him up. His face, kudos to the makeup artists, the makeup people. They did a fantastic job. Hearing what he was going through, how they beat him into submission to ultimately reveal.
Oh, and it was so sad that did happen to him, because I definitely did not think he was going to break. I was there's no way. There's no way. But
he coughed up Oliver's identity, which was, once that, you were like, oh, you knew now the caca is going to hit the fan.
Yeah, but it was great that he confessed that to Oliver immediately. They didn't have that drawn-out plot. Instead, he's let him know what was going on, and then Oliver could come up with and Diggle could come up with a great plan.
Yeah. Oh, and you mentioned Diggle. Okay. He's back in the outfit, y'all.
Oh.
He put on the helmet. He got the gun. He's like, it's time to get busy, and he was out there doing his thing.
And it was he never missed a beat. It was so great to see Diggle back on the team.
And I jumped ahead, but the thing was really cool. We've had these moments where, in all of these shows, where you kind of have that mentor kind of thing. Before they got out there, where he was in his little place, his little fortress of solitude, sitting there talking with René, and he was just talking about to bring him back into the fold, to get, and
tell me what was going on. It was really great to see them sort of exchange those stories too, because they have a similar background.
Exactly.
So it's always good to see two characters come together in that way.
And I know you're a really good, you're a person that's really big on the character development.
Exactly.
And you found out so much about both of them.
Those are, for all of the shows, those are the scenes that really bring me in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I love the fact that they spent a little time, not too much time. They got out what they needed to get out, and it helped propel the story, boom, to the next level. And you knew right then, oh, the helmet's going back on. And, you know, he was going out there. So now, I talked about this a little bit because I was one of these guys, look, I watched the episode, and when it was done, I literally had to get out of and go do something. I had an appointment somewhere. I had to do something. So I never saw any of the promos.
Oh,
so,
no.
Right, so I didn't see Oliver shot.
Oh, wow. So, you were like...
Yeah, no, you know what I mean? I kind of put myself in like an isolation bubble.
That was some serious... You were shocked for poor Thea. Exactly. Poor Thea. And how many times does her brother have to die out there? How many times? Like, oh my God. At least this time she got like 5-minute warning.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like,
she's one of these people where when somebody, it's going to be like the boy who cried wolf for her. When if something ever really happened and Oliver really did kick the bucket, she'd be like, yeah, whatever.
Like 3 years later, she'd be like, I'm just waiting for him to come back.
I got his Christmas present right here. Yeah, you know, it was kind that they didn't put it through the full ringer, but still, that has to be nerve-wracking and really agonizing. But because of that whole setup of Oliver getting shot, and, you know, I guess this is why people don't like spoilers with movies and things like that, because me not knowing, it was so much more satisfying. You know, I mean, it's really, I wish they didn't have it in the promo, because me not knowing made that experience, made me go, nah.
You're like, how's he going to get out of that?
What is going on? And then I'm thinking, okay, you know, everything is fine. The commercial's going to come back, and then they pronounce him dead. I'm like, oh, this is for real. And in that same moment, the camera pans over, and there he is standing right there. And I was like,
another roller coaster of emotions.
I was breathing a sigh of relief, you know? He's breathing, and then so there's Oliver. Elevator door opens. There's Oliver, and I'm like, is this the Parent Trap? You know, but no, it was the introduction to Human Target. It not only was the name of the title of the episode, but it was the introduction to this DC character, and it was really cool. He's a detective who can he's a bodyguard, and he does that whole Mission Impossible thing.
It's crazy that not only can he take on other people's faces, but he also like is invulnerable. Like what?
Well, you know, that's a little bit of his backstory, like what he does to prepare, because like later on in the scene, later on in the episode, when they're out there with the guns, all of a sudden, is that Luke Cage? No, it's Human Target. You know?
But yeah, like you said, he learns everything about his targets to become them. And so when he was out there like blackmailing politicians and getting reporters' numbers, he was like, it wasn't me doing it, it was you doing it.
Exactly.
You were the one doing it, because I just acted like you.
The funny thing is, we found out that he had an encounter with Oliver. In the flashback, I have to admit that I was so confused by that. Because I was like, does Oliver know that? No, see, Oliver doesn't know that was him. But he knows who Oliver is.
Right,
so it's kind of, because of the disguise, he had no idea.
But the other people knew it was him.
Right, the other people
How did the reporter know that it was him?
I have no idea, but it's really cool. It's like they have a weird relationship because, again, it's somebody who's very familiar with you, but you're not familiar at all with the other person, which I think is going to be an interesting dynamic. Because they're acting like, because basically, Human Target's got to pretend, he's walking around pretending like, oh, glad to meet you, Mr. But he's known him for years.
Yeah, so why do you think, like, I guess my question is, why is he doing that? You know, like, why would he be hiding that from Oliver?
That's a good question. That's a very good. I don't know. Maybe we may find out in another flashback that, you know, maybe something went down and, you know, again, don't want you to know that, maybe it's the whole white Martian thing. Don't want you to know I'm that white Martian. It could be that similar kind of thing. Maybe he did something in the flashback.
I guess we're going to find out in the flashbacks, of course.
Exactly.
You're so smart.
Exactly.
That's what storytelling is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Why do I know everything now?
Does anybody have any questions?
Let's see. Any Arrow questions we got here?
By the way, while you're looking up Arrow questions, I love that moment. Who was it with René? And he went straight up Aaron Paul for Breaking Bad. I'm not going to say it. Because my mama raised a good young man, but he had that moment like Aaron Paul and Brady. He's like, yeah, you afraid of me yet? You know, expletive? And I was like, that was kind of fun.
That is pretty fun.
He's all beat up because he's all beat up. That's now the way you like him. That's your boy because he's all beat up, he's all buff, and and yet he's asking like, oh, really?
All right, we have a question here because most people are still debating Barry's love life when you know that he's going to make babies with Iris and then Bart Allen's going to come, so stop debating it. It's fine. Lily wants to know if we can talk about the reporter and if we can kill her. So I think that it's interesting that from this very start, you know, because like I was like, okay, we're going to see Oliver maybe move on to a new relationship, and then at the end of the episode, we see that she's already working against him.
Right.
So that relationship's not going to go very far.
Right. But at the same, and she's sliding the number. That's the thing. So she's already got that two-faced thing going on. You know, she's like, you know what to do with the number, and then Oliver's like, wait a minute. you're crazy. I thought we weren't, you know.
Yeah.
And then, so she's got some other motive going on.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys, like, do you think is she working with Prometheus, or is she just working her own angle, like her reporter angle, wanting to bring down the billionaire playboy mayor?
You know, maybe it's her way to sleep her way to a story.
Oh, I hope that's not what it is.
I mean, I'm saying, you know, she's trying to get in so that now, you know, Mayor Queen will let down his guard. Because, I mean, she seemed like the anti-Lois Lane. You know, she's a reporter, but she's got that seedy tabloid mentality.
Yeah.
That dirty, nasty, sticky tabloid mentality.
You know what? Like our reporters sometimes.
Bam!
In this election cycle.
That's where I'm going with this.
Exactly.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
And I don't like her either.
But Bartholomew Allen hopes that she doesn't die, and I also hope she doesn't die, just because we have seen enough women die on Arrow.
Right.
It's cool.
And again, it would be great to see if Oliver will you know, learn from being, I want to say he was never manipulated, but if he has learned from his experiences dealing with women.
Exactly.
And now
he's had some women use him.
Exactly. He's been used a bit, and you want to see that he grows into being a guy who can spot things, and he's a little more competent in his relationships and his dating life.
The final big thing that happened in this episode was, speaking the topic of moving forward, we moved forward in our villains because Prometheus killed Church.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that this early. I really thought that Tobias Church was going to be around a little bit longer.
Well, I did. Okay, you know, first of all, I did. I really did. Because he promised it. And,
that's true. He did give a warning. So I guess he broke the rules. So.
Right. And he sounded like the type of person where, you know, again, kind of a Negan, where like, look, I told you there are no freebies.
That's true.
This is what you. And so
if he hadn't done it, then we wouldn't fear him.
Exactly. So if it hadn't happened this episode, then I thought that would be another element that they could drag out and like maybe bring back up in another episode. Look forward to it. The moment you saw someone looking like Arrow, like and then boom, Tobias is back in the episode. But listen, before he killed them, did you like the Arrow Tobias butt whooping?
That was a great fight scene.
That was a great fight
scene.
And
I'm not big on fight scenes. I'm like, oh, okay, they're fighting. That's cool. But like, it was like really well done. Like, and it was just so gritty too. You know, like it seemed sloppy, like it would.
Right.
It didn't seem overly choreographed.
Right. Well, the thing that was really cool about it, like when when you're doing fight scenes for TV shows and movies, you know, you don't want your actors to get hurt. But there was a raw and grittiness to it that almost felt like, you know, ultimate fighting.
Yeah.
But yet it has to be choreographed so the actors and stunt people don't injure themselves. So I like the dirty, hands-on, raw grittiness of it. Yet they were all over the place and they were really going at it with such an intensity. I was like, did somebody get hurt for real? You know, it was a great fight scene.
It was.
And then the very last thing that happened, after Prometheus killed Tobias.
Bye, Tobias.
But before that happened, Tobias, thinking that was going to be his get out of jail free card.
He was so smug.
It's like Prometheus, they got to get out of death free card.
I told you, it's Oliver Queen. Are we done now? Are we good?
And he's like, yeah, thank you for that info.
Right.
You know?
Tobias was I had to say, he went out with kind of like a whimper this episode, because it was like, he was like all set up to be like big and bad, but then it's like he just like, except for that fight, the fight with Arrow was great. Before that, he like wasn't fighting his own fights, you know, and he was like cowering in the face of Prometheus. So it's like, you weren't all that bad, were you?
And I'm gonna jump on the not dragging thing out bus with you and go, I'm so glad they didn't drag out the whole killing of him, because once he said, hey, you know, Oliver Queen is the Green Arrow, they could have dragged that out for another episode.
He could have let him live that, but he didn't.
But no, he said he went ahead and just killed him right away. It was done, finito, goodbye. I loved it. Now the big thing is, now we have this guy, Prometheus, who is scary.
Yeah.
And he knows. I mean, the whole point of secret identity.
Because then Oliver came back to life immediately, right? So.
Right. And the thing is, you know, once you know someone's true identity, you don't have to attack them. You can get them by hurting the people that they love, the people that are surrounding them.
And it's pretty easy to know who Oliver Queen is connected to. And ironically, it's the same people that the Green Arrow is connected to.
Exactly. So now you got to really worry about not Oliver necessarily, but his crew.
Right. Exactly.
Now all of a sudden, everybody is on like suicide watch, or, you know, death watch. Because Prometheus is out there and he can, like, you know, he knows all of the people, he knows all the players, and he's got his own quiver full of arrows too.
And that's so true.
It's crazy.
We're gonna find out what happens.
Yeah. So
next week.
Look, we've also been talking to people about some of the things they like to do. We got a lot of talented people to watch the stream.tv.
Yeah.
Talented up the yin yang. Make me look like, you know, a wind-up doll. You guys are crazy. You put your artwork, you dropped some mad skills with your artwork. artwork, and we've got some here to show you. And by the way, hey, if you haven't sent us some stuff, send us stuff because you know we'll put it on. We'll give you a shout out. But take a look at these. Look at the people who sent us some stuff right now, and they're Picasso-like magnificent work.